who are blind or have low vision. Before we start, our learning objectives for today is to define the teaching students who are blind or have low vision, characteristics, classroom accommodation and modification, and teaching strategies. Teaching students who are blind, it examines key areas where students who are blind or have may need support and features some whole class strategies that may benefit all students, particularly those with blindness. It focuses on supporting you where specialist assistance may not be available, but you are searching for ways to adapt your classroom program to meet the diverse needs of your students. Example of teaching students who are blind that students may use a braille, a form of written language for blind people, in which characteristics are represented by patterns of raised dots that are filled with the fingertips. Blindness. Having severely impaired or absolutely no sense of sight. Sightless, a blind man, unwilling or unable to perceive or understand. They were blind to their children's fault. He or she was blind to all arguments, not characterized or controlled determined by reason or control. Blind tenacity and blind chance. What is blindness causes it? The causes of blindness are uncorrected refractive errors and cataracts. Cataracts cause cloudy vision. They're more common in older people. This is closely followed by age-related macular degeneration. To destroy the part of your eye that enables you to see details, it usually affects older adults. Glaucoma refers to different eye condition that can damage your optic nerve, which carries visual information from your eyes to your brain. And diabetic retinopathy. These pictures are example of blindness. So let's continue. If you're completely blind, you can see nothing. But if you're partially blind, you might experience the following symptoms. First, cloudy vision, an inability to see shapes, seeing only shadows, poor night vision, and lastly, tunnel vision. Cloudy vision is the loss of visual acuity or a blurring of visual perception that can affect one or both eyes. You may experience cloudy vision as a haziness or lack of clarity in your eyesight. It can be constant or intermittent, and one or both eyes can be affected. Example is cataracts. An inability to see shapes. Agnosia is a rare disorder whereby a patient is unable to recognize and identify objects, persons, or sounds using one or more of their senses, despite otherwise normally functioning senses. Seeing only shadows are caused by age-related changes that occur as the jelly-like substance inside in your eyes becomes more liquid. Microscopic fibers within the vitreous tend to clump and can cast tiny shadows on your retina. The shadows you see are called floaters. Poor night vision is your inability to see well at night or in poor light, such as in a restaurant or movie theater. It is often associated with an inability to quickly adapt from a well-illuminated to poorly illuminated environment. Example: glaucoma. Medications used to treat glaucoma can cause night blindness. And lastly, tunnel vision. It can occur for a variety of reasons including migraine, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, stroke. Some causes are serious and require medical attention as soon as possible to help prevent further damage. Example: when the kids were talking to, but she had trouble focusing on anything outside of keeping the buzzing in her eyes from pushing her beyond tunnel vision into the darkness. How is blindness diagnosed? Blindness is diagnosed by testing each eye individually and by measuring the visual acuity and the visual field or peripheral vision. People may have blindness in one and unilateral blindness or both eyes, bilateral blindness. So let's proceed to the characteristics of teaching students who are blind. That every situation and every student is different. Students may need significant help with all day-to-day tasks or may work independently, and to experience them to vary depending on the nature of their blindness, that any associated disability, their family setting and circumstances, and individual factors such as age and personality. However, students who are blind may find processing visual information tiring and difficult, need access to technology to keep up with their peers, benefit from extra help to learn social and daily living skills, find organizational strategies and tools useful, benefit from extra support to move around the classroom and school. The development characteristics of blind students. There may be issues with sensitivity to light or glare, blind spots in their visual fields, or problems with contrast or certain colors. Factors such as lighting, the environment, fatigue, and emotional status can also impact visual functioning in many of the students throughout the day. So let's proceed to the classroom accommodation and modification. Classroom modification and accommodation are changes in what students are expected to learn based on their individual abilities. Classroom accommodation and modification, it can help you to develop new teaching strategies, to adapt the classroom program, to identify the tools, systems, and equipment best suit to your students, trial and develop their skills necessary to use assistive technology, and to provide one-on-one teaching to students who are blind or have low vision. So let's proceed to the teaching strategies. Teaching strategies refers to a method to use to help the students to learn and be able to develop their achievable goals in the future. The strategies that it will help the teachers to use to support the learners through the learning process. Starting out are the ideas to think about. There is no one size fits all. All of your students bring a huge variety of skills, needs, and interests to their learning. These differences are as unique as their fingerprints. Students want to access the learning in the way that works best for them. Know your students. To talk with the student, family, specialist teachers, and other members of your student team to come to understand your student and their learning potential. Find out about the student interests, likes, and things that motivate the student. You don't need a separate curriculum. Take a flexible, inclusive approach to teaching and you will find very little, if any, adaptation to the curriculum is required. Be flexible in the goals you set as well as the teaching methods, materials, and assessment you use. Ako, be a learner as well as a teacher. Reflect on the impact of our practice and actions with the question, what is important? What strategies are most likely to help my students learn this? What has happened as a result of my teaching and what will I need to do next? Plan and prepare. To talk with and involve your students, their parents, family, to build a team around your student, to develop a good learner profile, to set clear goals and check in often. And lastly, it matters how you see disability. Be a disability champion in your school and your classroom. See the student first, not their disability. Look at the world from their perspective. Understand how societal attitudes can create barriers for students. Design your classroom in a way that removes those barriers and work for all students and all ways of living in the world. These are also examples of teaching strategies: classroom lighting, organization, and clutter. To need to change anything to make sure that students can safely get to and from important areas such as the teacher's desk or lab equipment. To adapt the teaching materials to make sure that they are fully accessible to students using text enlargement software such as a screen reader. To check with students who are blind or have low vision to find out that how they use vision in different situations. Make a rule to have people entering your class identify themselves when they enter and say goodbye when they leave. Make your classroom a good environment for active listening. Adding a carpet in the classroom to help reduce unwanted background sounds and make it easier for students to listen. Set aside an additional desk or workspace for students who need additional equipment such as large print books. And lastly, setting up classrooms so all students can use the tools and equipment and participate in all curriculum areas. Thank you for your listening. I hope you've learned. If na question, please post to the forum and I'll try to answer it. Thank you.